friends, it was no small thing about 10 months ago. If you put in Amazon Business inside charity, Amazon graciously invited us to influence in some of the smallest of ways how to message and how to introduce Amazon Business for nonprofits. There are all sorts of value adds. It's a new program. Amazon never had a dedicated business silo simply for nonprofits until the last 6 months. There's been some wonderful administrative moves, and they are investing millions in making our lives easier. Now, remember, friends, we do know at NANOE that you got to pay. One thing that we teach NANOE members is please don't go to the local printer and who makes his living sending out direct mail and ask him to do it for free. Let's go raise the philanthropic dollars so we can pay. And Amazon has gone out of its way to reduce payments and to be able to give us the things that we need to accomplish a heroic mission of scale in a way that's uncommon. Andrew, could I invite you now to take over? Go ahead, Andrew.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. Well, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I want to express sincere appreciation to Jimmy, the NANOE Board of Governors, and to each of you present here today, first and foremost, for all that you're doing to serve our communities, especially over the past year. Your vital work has never been more needed and valued. So thank you for your passionate commitment to your missions and for your attention over the next few minutes. I recognize that I'm a new face to many of you, but I'm not new to nonprofits. In fact, my post-college career started at Catholic University of America, where I was in seminary. While I didn't become ordained as a Catholic priest, I eventually finished my master's in theology and dedicated my career to 4 words: do good, do well. That mantra led me through roles with organizations serving people with HIV and AIDS, immigrants, homeless veterans, people with special needs, and young men and women in a private high school just outside of Washington, D.C. Along the way, I worked with administrative, program, and clinical staff at dozens of nonprofits to raise more than $100 million in funding to develop innovative programs that serve society's most vulnerable citizens. But now that I'm at Amazon, I've added 2 more words to my mantra: at scale. I'm thrilled to be in a role where you and I can together leverage Amazon's world-class logistical capabilities to achieve cost savings and operational efficiencies as you support our local communities and critical missions across the globe. I'll speak a bit more in depth about Amazon Business in a few slides, but first I wanted to make you aware of some of Amazon's work with nonprofits to date. First, we work with more than 75,000 nonprofits. In fact, my new role, which began in November of 2020, is a direct result of Amazon's increased commitment to support the social sector. We work with 30 of the top 100 nonprofits in the US and more than 28,000 faith-based organizations. I also wanted to say that we're proud of the fact that we delivered more than 12 million meals to underserved families and vulnerable seniors across 25 plus cities in 2020 during the pandemic. And we donated more than $10 million in PPE supplies and logistical support, including 4.4 million masks to over 200 clinics across 47 states. Also, when the unthinkable happens, Amazon is also there. Our disaster relief and response teams leverage Amazon's vast operational capabilities and innovative technology to deliver supplies to the hardest to reach locations during large-scale natural disasters. We also have a donations team that partners with Good 360 to distribute 20 million products to charitable organizations in 2020. And I can't share the stats on this year, but they're already on a tear to surpass, at this point of the year, our giving from last year. Really remarkable work. Amazon's also really proud and committed to be having an impact on society's most pressing challenges. We recently launched a $2 billion housing equity fund to create or preserve 20,000 homes in Arlington, Puget Sound, and Nashville. We provided computer science education for 55,000 children and young adults at 5,000 schools in underrepresented US communities. And we donated $27 million to combat racism, giving to organizations like the ACLU, Equal Justice Initiative, and Black Lives Matter. Lastly, we raised our minimum wage to $15 for all employees in the US, and 3 months ago expressed our strong support of the Raise the Wage Act, which would make this true for 32 million hardworking Americans. Lastly, one of you in the comments said, hey, we know Smile. We work with Smile, and I'm glad you do. And I'm really excited to say that last year, Amazon donated nearly $250 million through the Smile program to hundreds of thousands of charitable organizations in 2020. So that's a little bit of background on Amazon's overall philanthropic giving. And I've got to say, when I joined, and I'm going off script here, when I joined Amazon, this was a concern of mine that I didn't feel as if Amazon was doing enough to support our communities. And it just feels like over the last couple of years, but last year especially, Amazon has really ratcheted up its philanthropic activity to support our communities. And I'm really, really proud of that, and proud to be associated with this organization and to have a role like mine to more directly affect what we can do to help nonprofits in your communities. So that's all the preamble for my core role at Amazon, which is Amazon Business. And it's really all about effective nonprofits. So I'll review at a very high level the value that Amazon brings to nonprofit customers like you. We may have some time for questions. I won't be able to maybe answer some of the PR challenging questions of some of the previous slides. If you have any there, you want to talk about some of that. But if you have questions about Amazon Business as they arise, I'd be happy to address those at the end. But first, a story about Jeff Bezos. In 2001, Bezos sketched this virtuous cycle, eventually dubbed the Amazon Flywheel, on the back of a paper napkin. The cycle starts on the right, putting the customer experience first. At Amazon, we always start with the customer and work backwards. If customers are delighted, they return to the site again and again. That's traffic. That kind of vibrant environment will attract more third-party selling partners. Tens of thousands of selling partners drive more product selection, and more selection creates healthy competition, which ultimately lowers the cost of products and innovation and creates a positive flywheel effect. So the question that I really want to ask you, but that I'm asking myself a lot, is how can we apply the Amazon flywheel to your nonprofit to improve the way you serve your customers? I literally am up at night thinking about this question. And so I don't know if this is like my flux capacitor moment, hitting my head on the toilet and coming up with this, but this is how I'm answering it. To me, the nonprofit flywheel starts on the right in this diagram, with effective nonprofit purchasing there in the upper right. Having worked in and raised money for nonprofits and been on nonprofits boards, I've created and lived by the lean budgets with what you can spend, often dictated by grants and other funding sources. So in that kind of environment, optimizing your spend is critical. That's where Amazon Business helps you to consolidate your spend in one place, get control over it, and leverage your organizational spend at scale to gain cost savings, all with the convenience of fast, free shipping to generate programmatic velocity. Now, layer in at the bottom of this wheel the investments and innovations that we're making with nonprofits in mind, including our donation driver technology that increases the amount of product donations you receive from the community. I'll talk about that more in a bit. We hope that this leads to nonprofit growth, as you can redirect spend from supplies to programs, amplifying your community impact and increasing the number of impact stories. But look, at the end of the day, it's more than numbers. Every number, as my pastor says, is a name, and every name has a story, and we want to help you to write the next chapter. So what is Amazon Business? Well, it's very much the same shopping experience you enjoy at home, but for work, specifically for your nonprofit work. Amazon Business was created in 2015 after Amazon saw signals that organizations were using Amazon to support business purchases, but customers were missing critical features needed for a B2B buying environment. Amazon Business took all that customer feedback and developed a B2B marketplace, infused it with all the necessary features that make buying more efficient and cost-effective. In fact, you right now likely have numerous dozens, maybe hundreds of employees based on the size of your organization who are buying things for work, and they're using a corporate card or seeking reimbursement? If they are buying all of these items on Amazon, you're likely missing out on millions of products from thousands of sellers, along with business discounts that you'll only find on Amazon Business. They're not on Amazon.com, the consumer site. So as you're looking to the right, this is some of the features that we offer, but I wanted to sort of share with you the process of how we get you set up. First, we set up a single official account for your organization where you can invite all of those users, all of those buyers to purchase under one umbrella and access business-only pricing and bulk discounts not available on Amazon.com. Step one. Step two, we set up the Amazon tax exemption program to ensure you stop paying taxes inadvertently. Three, we activate Business Prime, so you use dozens of features that are designed for enterprise, not personal purchasing. We establish controls like claiming your domain to prevent rogue accounts from being created. And we set up optional approval workflows to ensure you know what people are buying. We allow for flexibility between the use of purchase cards or shared payment methods like pay by invoice with net 30 terms. We set up guardrails and promotional tools to encourage your buyers to purchase from small, local, and diverse businesses. And we can track spend if you have supplier diversity goals. We also can integrate with your existing systems. And you have 60 columns of data on every order to help with financial reconciliation and auditing activities. Lastly, you get access to our world-class customer service, as well as my team of 17 dedicated nonprofit customer advisors and many other teams and philanthropic resources across Amazon. So I think Business Prime for nonprofits is one of our most important features. So I wanted to double click on it. First, I want to point out that we have exclusive nonprofit discounts for Business Prime, where you get all the features for anywhere from 30% to 65% off the regular subscription price. Again, it includes fast free delivery, progressive discounts where you can get lower prices when you buy more of the same items, and you have spend visibility dashboards that provide charts and graphs with your top items purchased, the top categories, the leading buyers, and the amount you've directed to small and diverse businesses, all again visualized. I could imagine that if you were to do a board presentation, they would be wowed by your ability to show both real time and or take screenshots of what's happening with your buying activity in order to gain cost savings and control. Lastly, we bring what we call guided buying tools that allow you to block or restrict certain products or set preferences for others. I think it's also worth illustrating the type of structure you can establish in Amazon Business, whether it's as simple as 1 or 2 employees making purchases on behalf of the organization, or if you have a local community-based organization with multiple programs, or manage operations for a national or international infrastructure with geographically dispersed chapters or affiliates. We can adapt and scale your Amazon Business account to your organization's needs, whether it's big or small. So that's kind of the core functionality and features of Amazon Business. And we talked about how you can spend more cost effectively with Amazon. Now I want to ask a different question. What if you could automate the process of donors buying items for the people you serve through Amazon Business? In other words, generating donations, not 0.5% from Smile. I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars of products being donated by the community to your organization for distribution to the people you serve. This is the last member benefit I want to highlight today, and it's called Donation Driver. It's a new feature that allows organizations to efficiently crowdsource physical donations for items they need for their mission: diapers, car seats, clothes, toiletry items, you name it. There's so many agencies with active Amazon wish lists, so many organizations with Amazon wish lists scattered on Amazon, and it's excited to sort of share this transformation. So this slide walks us through the process of setting up Donation Driver. And really what we're trying to do here is empower community members to do more good for one another. So first, you create a preferred product list of commonly needed items. Second, you display those products on your website, not sending people to Amazon. In fact, in some ways, people won't even know that they're interacting with Amazon. We're displaying our products, but it's as if you're offering those on your website for donation and purchase, and then sending to you. Next, we enable your donors to pick a people or program to support, then load a cart with the exact items they need, not cleared out closets and garages. The website visitor can place a donation against those items, so you can receive the donor information and send them an automatic thank you and tax receipt. Meanwhile, using automation, a PO, a purchase order, is sent to your Amazon business account where the order is placed and delivered to your organization or to the point of need. Not back to the donor who needs to deliver it to you physically, but delivered by Amazon to your door or the doors of your programs, wherever they happen to be located. Lastly, we capture all of that data in your business account so you can analyze it and understand donor behavior, or can engage in better planning to buy any remaining items not met by donors. So this is what I was seeing on nonprofit websites, and realized that we really needed to scale this solution. So basically, you probably have wish lists. And if they're not posted on your website, you probably have them sitting on a desk somewhere in your office. And so what we want to do is turn it into this, just items displayed on your website. So here's how we work with Teresa's Fund, which operates domesticshelters.org. They're the largest website dedicated to providing information that helps survivors of domestic abuse to get to safety as quickly as possible. So the donor arrives on their website, enters their zip code, selects one of dozens of nearby shelters, browses and loads a cart with the items they need, as you can see on the right, then enters simple personal and payment information, very minimal, just first name, last name, email address. They want to sign up, you want to get them on your newsletter to be able to send them more information afterwards. They enter their personal payment information. If they want to add an optional donation, to do that. They can write a message to the nonprofit while they make that donation, and then it's sent to your Amazon business account for purchase and delivery. Within the first week of one of their shelters, basically what a shelter has to do here, so Domestic Shelters has this functionality available to a shelter, so they have to claim their profile and then get it set up. And so this is an example of a shelter that claimed that profile, and they said within the first week we received over $700 worth of donated items. Quite a wonderful surprise. And then Sandy here at Anne Marie's Alliance Minnesota said the wish list program was much easier to set up and use compared to what we've done in the past. It allowed us to offer all of the items we need. And if you can think about a domestic violence shelter, you don't want necessarily people from the community bringing physical goods because it could create risk for the people that you're serving. And so they might have had off-location places where it could be delivered, but with Amazon, it certainly begins to mitigate some of that risk as well. You can also consolidate and have items sent on the same day. So if you only have volunteers on Thursdays to be able to receive these Amazon boxes, or staff is only available because you have limited staff available on a single day of the week, you can use essentially Amazon Day to consolidate those deliveries to this program as well. So a lot of different ways. Not only does it drive donations, but it can create some operational efficiencies over what you're doing now. So I just want to end as I began, really just asking this question. How can you and I do good and do well together at scale? Please don't hesitate to reach out if I sparked any ideas and insights for you today. But thanks again to Jimmy for the invitation to be with you. I've enjoyed the morning, and I look forward to answering any questions that you might have about what I've shared with you today.
And if you stay for a minute, and if you all you have to do is stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
And let's see. Let me see. Let me see if I can spotlight myself. And we're going to be very careful to follow Amazon guidelines. I just want to share with you some good news. Again, Jimmy LaRose trying to find himself. There I am. And I can add to the spotlight. The great news, friends, is that in the next 15 or 20 minutes, into your inbox will be an invitation to create your own Amazon Business for Nonprofits account. And of course, it doesn't cost anything to set that up. And then, of course, Andrew has customer support team that's able to work with you on an individual basis, regardless of your size, and to figure out how to best put this infrastructure in place. Andy, I know that you probably couldn't see the chat, but chat after chat after chat, people are either saying that they can't wait to do Amazon Business for Nonprofits, or they've been using it for years and it's something that's been spectacular for them. We're grateful that you decided to partner with NANOE, and we're grateful for this great presentation today.
Thanks, Jimmy. Hey, actually, if I could comment on a couple of the chat. Sam, I'm really fascinated that you studied us in your MBA program. I'd love to follow up with you and see what was said about it. I don't know if you have a discussion like that now, Jimmy, but definitely, Sam, you've got me intrigued. Kurt, thanks for your comments on having used it for years. I think that's true. A lot of nonprofits have. And what we're doing right now with my dedicated team is trying to reach out to hundreds, thousands of them to make sure that they have, someone who can be a steward of those resources that you're spending with us. And then just appreciate Christy and others who've made comments here that I can see in the chat. So,
Andy, I don't think I get in trouble, and you can opt not to respond to this question, but I have noticed over the last 8 months that there could possibly be some restructuring and a commitment to nonprofits that may be different than the way Amazon responded to the sector in the past. I think what I'm saying is that you have grown your infrastructure in supporting nonprofits. Is it okay to pose that question or have a comment from you?
Yes, of course. Appreciate that question, Jimmy. So yes, last year and in the years prior, we had 2 main public sector verticals, Gov and EDU. And under Gov was nonprofits. And so you'd have like a local Gov, customer advisor also calling on nonprofits. But as we've seen growth over the last few years, we realized that it was time to stand up a dedicated team, so a separate and third nonprofit vertical on Amazon Business. AWS, Amazon Web Services, did the same last year. So just you kind of start to see that Amazon is seeing the opportunity to invest in nonprofits. So I conceived that team, given my background. I was running our large and strategic public sector team at the time. But when I came to Amazon in November 2017, my true north was always to make Amazon more philanthropic. So when I heard we were going to be standing up a separate vertical, I just was jumping up and down and saying, let me do that. So what we have now is we have a team that serves nonprofits of all sizes, 17 dedicated customer advisors, and we have other resources that we're coordinating with across Amazon, Amazon Smile, Amazon in the community. There are other groups that are being philanthropic. So we're trying to bring sort of this one Amazon approach to the social sector. Very exciting. It's a tipping point moment, really, at Amazon wide.
Andy, just share with the group in closing your name and your new title.
All right. Andrew Krzmarzick, head of nonprofits and global NGOs. So definitely thinking in the United States, but also beyond with the global capabilities that we bring to bear. So if you have a larger nonprofit with an international mission, we have organizations like that we serve, like Jehovah's Witnesses, who have a global mission. So anyway, thanks again, Jimmy, and thanks everyone for your time today.
Andrew, thanks so much.